So I'm going to tell you guys something you already know. We know the rumor with Jon Jones. We know all the chatter. You've heard Chael Sonnen talk about it. You've heard Brendan Schaub talk about it. Hell, you've probably heard Joe Rogan talk about it. You probably heard your mama talk about it. I don't know. We know something's coming. We know it probably revolves around the main event of UFC 230 in Madison Square Garden in November. We know that. The question isn't when or where. It's the who and the why, maybe, right? Those are the questions that we have. Who's he going to be facing and why now? Those are the questions I have. Not that I don't want to see him come back. I think we can all agree that seeing Jon Jones come back, Jon Jones is arguably one of the best fighters in MMA history. There's no arguing that. Or maybe you could. I don't know. With antics aside, let's take that off the table. Been there, done that. Everybody's talked about that. Let's move on. It's done. We know what he did. He knows what he did. Everybody, your neighbor knows what he did. But, it is what it is. Here's what we know. Between the weird tweets they just put out, we've seen the video that he put out where he looked like he's working out in Bob's garage, like he's hitting mitts, looking kind of big. He looks like a heavyweight to me. I don't know about you guys, but he looks a little on the heavy side. Not like a fat out of shape, but he just looks a little, maybe like he looks like a 230, 240. I mean, he looks pretty thick right now. Personally, if I were to see DC Jon Jones, number 3, for me, it's got to be at heavyweight. I don't think I want to see it at 205 again. I don't know what it would do for Jon to beat DC a third time. Of course, they're going to get paid. Of course, no matter what, people are going to watch it. There's just so much of a rivalry there. There's so much heat between them two. People are going to be drawn to it, regardless of what weight class it is. I want to see it at heavyweight. I think that the scale tips a little more in DC's favor at heavyweight. We saw what he did to Stipe. Stipe is arguably one of the best heavyweights, right? Stipe was on a hell of a run. Stipe hits like a Mack truck, and DC took him out. Maybe we could see in a similar situation where DC takes out Jon Jones. I think it's plausible. I think it would be fascinating to see them two fight and to see DC knock out Jon Jones. Not to say I don't dislike Jon Jones, right? I don't not like him. I a ton of respect for him. I would just love to see DC beat Jon Jones, right? They're Jon Jones is 2-0 against DC. I think DC. I got a lot of respect for what DC's done, and he's winding down. He's kind of in the twilight of his career, right? We know that he's only got 2 or 3 fights left in him. I want to see him win it for his legacy, for himself. I think I don't want to use the word deserves to win it because I don't think that's the right word, but I think he needs this win. I think he needs to win against Jon Jones, especially for his legacy. I think that will cement him. What else do we have? If Jon Jones isn't fighting DC, let's take the DC fight off the table. I've heard Brock Lesnar. We can knock that right off the table because Brock Lesnar's not able to fight until January. That's already been discussed. That's already in the books. That's already, that's done. That's a done deal. I don't even know why you people are still talking about Brock Lesnar, Jon Jones in November. If it does happen, there's some shady shit going on, and you need to not ever trust USADA or UFC again if that's what happens. As much as I would like to see, the fan in me, the entertainment side of me, would love to see Jon Jones, Brock Lesnar in November. But it shouldn't happen right now because of USADA and because they shouldn't give anybody any shortcuts. You could argue, I've heard Jon Jones, Gustafsson, number 2 at 205. Okay, I could buy that. I wouldn't mind seeing that again. It was such a close fight the first time. A lot of people think that Gustafsson won. I don't think so. And again, I've talked about this before. Whenever there's a close fight and it goes to a decision and it's a good fight, people, like I said, people bring up the word robber and stuff like that. And it was really close. I think Jon did do enough to win. I don't think Gustafsson got robbed or nothing like that. But I don't know. Is that a big enough fight to headline Madison Square Garden? I don't know. I'd love to see the fight. I think a lot of the MMA purists would. I don't know that it's Gustafsson. Right now, he's just not a huge. Is he really a big enough draw to do that? Jon Jones is a good draw, but he needs somebody else in there that that they can kind of play off each other. I don't know that Gustafsson is a big enough draw. Maybe you could argue the rest of the card is stacked enough, it won't matter, but I just don't see it. I really don't see it. I can't think of anything else short of them bringing back Brock Lesnar and pulling a swerve on us all. It's got to be DC, and I think it's got to be a heavyweight. Again, like I said, we've seen the tweets, we've seen the videos, we know something's coming. We just don't know why, and we don't know who. And let's face it, UFC and Jon Jones has us in the palm of their hands.